Hey, Shalom, it's your brother JUN21.25. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Wadash. I want to give double honors to apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Today, we're going to talk about standing firm in this world of chaos. Okay? When I was in the world, before I was given the Lord's standard to uphold, I was nonchalant and indifferent about a lot of things. It was few things I even cared about. So, nothing really irritated me. If somebody was doing some bullshit, some wickedness that I knew deep down in my spirit was off, I'd just be in the, in the mindset of, well, it don't got nothing. It's not affecting me. I guess it ain't hurting nobody, or, I got my shit I do too. So who am I to say? Just void of judgment. But when you come into this truth and you're given the Lord's standard and you start to realize the source of all the bullshit going on in the world, you can't help but to be vexed from day to day with the filthy conversation of the wicked. You can't help but to be irritated with the gross, perverted darkness that's going on in the world. And you're commanded to exercise righteous judgment. Okay? So somebody who doesn't stand for anything, one, they'll fall for anything, and they're going to take the chip when it comes out. And two, they can be indifferent about societal issues. They can be indifferent about the state of our people. They can be indifferent about, the moral standard that's pushed within the society. They can be indifferent about, pedos getting a pass within this country, all over the world. They can be indifferent about damn near 1 million kids going missing every year in Babylon alone. They can be indifferent about those things. They're not grieved by evil. Okay? But, like it states in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, in the 4th verse, the righteous, those who are going to receive salvation, those who are going to be exempt from the judgment to come on this place, they're going to be what? Sighing and crying for the abominations being done in the midst thereof. All right, in Genesis the 19th chapter, I referenced it already. And I'm driving, so I'm just going to reference the precepts that I'm quoting and speaking on. Happened up the road. Police is speeding. Jeez Louise. Anyway, in Genesis, I believe the 19th chapter, and brothers can correct me if I'm wrong, put the precept on the comment board. It talks about Lot's distress in Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot was what? He was vexed with the conversation, the mindset, the environment that was modern day Sodom. Because he was about upholding the Lord's standard. So it was, not that you're just walking around depressed all day, or, burning bridges with your family and people in your daily life. You exercise wisdom. You understand, okay, all right, these people, they don't walk how I walk. They're not about what I'm about. So, and I don't need to be revealing to everybody what I'm about to these people. You know what I mean? Like the elder Mike Allah says, you got to be incognito in this place. Okay, wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. So there's a lot of things that you're not going to just be able to voice your frustrations about in your day-to-day. Our place to voice it is, of course, the highways and hedges, chief places of, concourse, and, the unicorn. All right, we've been given our arena in which to teach. So you're out there in the world and in your daily life, at your job and all that, social circles that you're forced to be in due to you being in this world. You don't have to voice all those things that you're frustrated about. You gotta deal with it. But the scriptures gives us the tools to have self-control and composure and to deal with these things. All right, and suffer patiently. Okay, but if you're a true believer and you're truly about the Lord's business, you love the Lord, it's impossible to not be irritated, frustrated, with the evil that we're surrounded by. Yes, we're surrounded by evil. Evil. What's his? What is Barnacle Man? Barnacle Boy. Anyway, so when you go to Ezekiel 9:4 and you look up that word mark, it's the wa, meaning an exemption from judgment. So somebody who's walking in the Lord's way to the best of their ability, upholding his standard. Okay? They're going to get a mark of exemption from the judgment that's going to play out in this place, because the Lord is coming back to give every man according as his work shall be, whether it be good or evil. Majority of the people have been walking in darkness, so their reward is going to be gruesome deaths. Okay? You don't want to be a part of that number. So you got to start to inquire about what the Lord wants. Inquire about righteousness, what righteous judgment is, right from wrong. And then you'll come to realize what deviating from the Lord's standard leads to. You'll start to realize the source of all the evil that's taking place in the earth. You'll start to realize a lot of things that you have to deal with in this society shouldn't even be a thing. You'll start to realize what the Lord has promised us to come, and you'll begin to long for it. And then, you know, like the scriptures say, it's going to make your belly bitter. So your soul's going to begin to ache being in this place. Okay? But that's a part of the, you know, it's part of the cost. It's a rite of passage. Because the Lord is grieved and frustrated and vexed on a whole nother level. The Lord, scriptures say the Lord is angry with the wicked every day. So us getting to know the Lord, we get a drop of his frustration. You know? Which is enough. Alright? To want to see this place expire. Because majority of the people in the world, man, they don't have nothing to say about, you know, the small hats over there bombing preschools. They're going to say what the media tells them to say. They're going to say what they were programmed to say. Okay? As long as it's not up close and personal in their face, they don't really give a shit. And you know, we don't have a dog in that fight. We just know that those people aren't supposed to be in that land. We know that the small hats are ultimately the primary antagonists of our family of people. All right? Of the family of the heavens, the Israelites. We know that they're the source of 99% of the problems that are going on in the earth. But it's prophecy as well. We know that. The scriptures say in Isaiah, the least of the flock shall draw them out. So the state of Israel, bullshit, right? The state of Israel is prophesied, okay, the Amalekites of the nation of Edom are prophesied to drag all of the nations into the war of Armageddon, which is spoken of in Joel the 3rd chapter. In Joel the 3rd chapter, it talks about all the nations being brought down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh-Shaphat, which means Yahweh doth judge. Okay? And the climax of the Lord's movie is going to take place there, and the Lord's going to intervene in this world war and demolish all of the other mountains. Mountains being government. So when you read Micah the 4th chapter, it talks about, you know, there being one mountain, meaning one government, one ruling, you know, nation, which is going to be the nation of Israel. And on the left-hand side, you have the Edomites. They're trying to duplicate that one world order, but on the left-hand side. But it's not going to be so. It's only going to be done in righteousness. You see? Now, when you go to 2 Peter's, the 3rd chapter, 9 through about verse 13, okay, it's going to talk about the promise of the new heaven and the new earth. And that's what those who truly love the Lord, they're going to be anticipating that. And that longing that's within them, that longing that's within a true believer leads to proactive living. All right, being a doer of the word and not a hearer only, as it states in James 1:22 or 1:20 or 22. Maybe 22. All right. That longing leads to proactive living, rooted in faith and hope, because it takes faith to really put into practice the standard that the Lord said to live by. So you begin to live with a purpose, unlike these people who are just living to gratify their flesh. You live with the spiritual purpose, the spiritual mission in mind. You begin to want what the Lord wants. So your heart begins to be cultivated towards your righteousness, your mind, la. So you're gonna be reading, okay? You're gonna abstain from things that the Lord says, hey, you don't need to be about this. These things are abominations. In that way, in your life, in your own way, you're standing against injustices. Okay, if you're a brother, you're a man, the Lord will put the Spirit on you what? To bring this word out, to teach, to do your reasonable service. So you're gonna become a voice for truth. All right, you're not gonna have any guile or deceit in the things you speak, because you're gonna speak the words that the Lord told you to speak. What? Isaiah 8:20. If they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in them. 1 Peter 4:11. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God, which is just a synonym for prophets. They spoke using the Lord's words. They urged the people to desire what the Lord desires. It's for righteousness to reign on the earth, and for them to be obedient to the standard that He set, because that, again, it leads to life. All right, so you're gonna be. The world would view the true believers as, well, you guys are opinionated. No, we just stand for what the Lord said to stand for. But as a believer, you're gonna have strong convictions rooted in the fear of the Lord. So again, self-examination is important in our walk. Are you actually sighing and crying for the abominations being done in the midst thereof? Are you really, anticipating this society falling and you getting out of here? Because that's going to be the spark for you to resist when things get hard here and this devil comes to you with his solution in order to continue to thrive within this society. That's going to be a part of the gas in your tank. It's just like, fuck this place. I don't want nothing to do with it. Lord got me. So, Abaratazah, man, the lesson was edifying. You got something from it. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah, Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers, of course, a few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.